Hey guys, welcome to Dream Coin. It's Tyler again, and I just wanted to bring you a quick video on some of my favorite entertainment stocks that are on pretty decent lows right now that I feel like are going to have a very nice swing potential over the next few months for you to kind of just hold and chill out and let them rise back up to what I believe their natural value is going forward. So just to get right into it, the first one I'm going to be talking about is Viacom, and why I'm talking about Viacom specifically is I've been seeing a lot of people talk about them, especially because they had the massive amount of liquidated shares that went through on Friday, and they had the Goldman sell-off that went through, as well as their secondary share offerings that went through earlier in the week. So this kind of just resulted in a massive tank in the stock from where it was previously high'd at over that $90 range, almost $100. And what this is going to set up is a nice bounce possibly going in, because I personally don't see them going below like $46, $47 right now. As you can see here, even back in just like previous years, 2019, 2018, all that, they've been above $50 almost consistently, no matter where you look at them. This yellow line here, this is about when COVID started last year, which I'll have that kind of up for the other stocks we're going to be analyzing today too. But when COVID started, there was a huge drop in them as well. They were down $12 at one point, and they've been escalating up pretty decently since then. This is my trend line. This is kind of like an outlier underneath it. The rest of the trend line has been following about this range, going up to here. And as of now, from market close on Friday, they were about $48.23 at close, especially with the market kind of turning around and the portfolio reshuffling that usually happens at the end of the month being done after next week. I would assume this would start going up pretty decently from where it currently is sitting. I think even just shorter term, in the next like week or two, we revisit those early 50s on Viacom specifically. And then I think the natural value of Viacom is 60 plus. So I think if you're looking at this longer term, even going into the next like couple months with their new streaming acquisitions and Paramount Plus going live that they're looking at and everything, I do see this over $60 as a stock. So essentially, anybody that doesn't know, Tiger Cub, Archegos Capital Management had a giant liquidation of a lot of their holdings, and this was a big drop from Viacom because of what happened with this. The reason why this happened is because Tiger Cub is known for using leverage pretty heavily in their positions to use more capital than they currently have available physically. And so because of that, it appears that they probably had like a margin call that they had to fulfill with the price of Viacom dropping pretty steadily. And so this would contribute to why the stock dropped so heavily. So that is even more so why I think it's more of a buy right now as we go forward. And the other two stocks we're going to be looking at are more of the video game variety. So I've been looking at ATVI a little bit as well. Them and EA kind of have similar chart patterns if you look at them. These are on the 5-year charts that I've got. So back to 2016 on both of them, you can see they're pretty decently even for the most part as you go through. One's just a little steeper, obviously, for price range. And so they follow similar trends. You know, they get the cycles through the year, and then there's a small drop off around like November or Christmas, that kind of stuff generally, just because all the game releases will come around this time and things like that. And then they'll kind of drop off. It'll come earlier or later, depending on what's going on. Like you see here for EA, they dropped down pretty significantly in 2018 for this, and then they rebound a little bit. And then this is around where COVID happened, went up, and then they've had like a pretty solid year where they ran up pretty well, and then they did their yearly cycle where they go here. So especially with these video game stocks, you do see pretty yearly cycles where they run up until around that October-November range. So right here at this 132 price point for EA, this is a pretty decent buy for me as well. I wouldn't expect it to drop much lower than the 125 range as of now. Just looking through here, this is November to now where we're at, and it hasn't even retouched less than 125 since like December. I do see this being anywhere between 125 and maybe like 134 is going to be a good buy for you here with EA. And then I could see them hitting potentially that 140, 150 range as we get closer towards the end of the year. As you see here, they usually trend about 150 towards the end of the year going into the next year. So, and then as for ATVI, it's going to be a similar circumstance. Like I said, you know, you get the cycles where they rise up and they drop down. You can see it pretty significantly here. The main difference was this year, they had a really good year. 2017, they trended upwards pretty heavily into 2018. Then 2018, they had like a later pullback from the previous year where it came here. Then they trended up a little more, and then they pulled down pretty heavily going into the end of the year. And then they had a steady rise back up, and then COVID hit, they went down a little bit, and then they escalated back up, you know, because Activision Blizzard, online gaming and stuff like that definitely didn't get impacted too much from COVID. So that kind of actually helped them in a sense, really. So they've had like a really good year from 2020, and then they've just been seeing continued success and rising up. I value ATVI over $100 total. I think their fair value should be well over $100, especially with the new games Blizzard's coming out with, the continued success of, you know, things like World of Warcraft and different things like that, and online gaming in general, and the fact that they have Call of Duty under their belt, where they come out like every other year at this point because they swap years with other studios like Sledgehammer and everything along those lines. I could easily see Activision Blizzard being over $100 again end of year. As you can see, they've already hit $100 this year in general. That was back early February, and they're sitting $92 right now. I don't see too much of a pullback here down here. I could see maybe them going down to 85 at some point, if that, but anywhere between 85 92 I think is going to be a good buy for the stock as a whole. And as we get towards the end of the year, I could see them pushing that $100 fairly soon in the next couple months here, and as we hit, you know, that September October range, I could see a potential run for that 110 range and pushing for new highs that they've seen as a company in general for this stock. And that's going to do it for me in this video, guys. I just wanted to show you 3 stocks I think have fairly high potential to rebound fairly quickly for where they're at, and I assume that like a lot of people are looking for a lot more safe stocks right now, especially with the market being a lot more volatile. So with these coming to mind as longer investments, these are definitely going to be nice to weigh down your portfolio with and give you a little more leverage for riding out a lot of those tougher waves in the market as we go forward. Again, the 3 we went over are ATVI, Activision Blizzard, then you've got EA, and then you've got Viacom. So all 3 of those are going to be fairly nice going forward. The 2 are very big video game companies that are always looking for improvements, especially with the VR industry, virtual reality gaming being big. I could see those being implemented in them soon as well. And then Viacom, with their streaming services and everything, provides for a great value going forward, and especially with implementing those with Paramount Plus and everything going out in the last month. Other than that, I will catch you guys in the next video, and I'll be streaming going forward for the next few weeks, at least a couple times a week at market open. So if you want to catch some live trading or see what kind of stocks I look at throughout the day, come talk to me and let me know any stocks you are curious about for me to look at live for you. I would be more than happy to do that. So other than that, I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.